This recording is on the areas that we consider Latin America. So that's Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. We'll start with Central America. Generally, Mexico is included in this area of Latin America because their culture, things like language and religion are they have much more in common with Central America, South America than they do with the United States and Canada. So here are the different countries. As far as landforms, Central America is an isthmus, or that land bridge. It's a narrow strip of land connecting two larger areas of land between North and South America. You have coastal plains along the Pacific Ocean, you have lowlands along the Caribbean Sea, and you have a mountain area in the central part of Central America. As far as waterways, you have the Pacific Ocean over here, you have the Caribbean Sea over here, and most of these countries actually touch both. Um, the only two that don't are Belize, which only touches the Caribbean Sea, and El Salvador, which only touches the Pacific Ocean. The highland areas have, a difference in climate due to elevation. And due to the location along the Ring of Fire, it is susceptible to things like earthquakes and volcanic activity. Moving to the south of Central America, moving to the south of Central America, you have South America. Here are the different landforms. Starting with the Andes Mountains, they run along the west coast of South America. It is the longest mountain range in the world. It extends through 7 different countries. It is the source of the major rivers in South America, and it is the location to several volcanoes. The Amazon River and the Amazon River Basin. It is the world's largest river by volume, by the amount of water. It flows from the west, starting over here in the Andes Mountains, and flows east out into the Atlantic Ocean. The area surrounding it is the Amazon rainforest. It's also kind of a depressed shape. So if you think if you just took your fist and punched it down, the elevation is a little lower in these areas. The Atacama Desert is a very small desert. Very little to no population, no rainfall in this area, totally barren. It is one of the driest deserts on Earth. The Guyana and Brazilian highlands. You have the world's tallest waterfall in the Guyana highlands. The Brazilian highlands are actually made up of several different mountain ranges, and since it is such a large area, it does cover several different types of climates. The Llanos up here in Colombia and Venezuela is a grassy plains area. The Pampas is a grassy plains area in Argentina and Uruguay, and there's a lot of cattle ranching in this area. So you have the gaucho or the cowboy in that area. Patagonia is a desert or semi-arid area. It goes nearly to the southernmost point of South America, and you can actually find glaciers down in the southern part of Patagonia. As far as waterways, you have the Amazon River, you have the Orinoco River here, you have Rio de la Plata, which is where you have all of these rivers meeting each other. You have Lake Titicaca here, which is the world's highest navigable lake, and Lake Maracaibo, which is up here in the northern part of South America. And it is partly salty due to the fact that it is not totally enclosed. So you do have some of that ocean water coming in. As far as climate, every 3 years you have an El Nino year, and what that does is it brings the warm water that's generally out here in the Pacific closer to the coast, and it does change the weather patterns in this area. Here is a map showing you all of the different kinds of natural resources that you can find in South America. You can see they have lots of natural resources. As far as natural hazards, The western coast of South America does lie on the Ring of Fire, so they are susceptible to earthquakes and volcanoes. Moving on to the Caribbean is broken up into several different island groups. You have the Greater Antilles, which includes these larger islands. You have the Bahamas up here, and then you have the Lesser Antilles, which are the smaller islands in the Caribbean. As far as landforms, you do have two different main island groups. The islands of the Antilles are volcanic in origin, so they tend to be more mountainous. The Bahamas are coral islands, so they tend to be a little more flat. As far as climate, all of these islands fall in the tropics. There are some rainforests. There are also some highland areas that have some milder climates. Natural resources and natural hazards. As far as natural resources, there are you do have some natural gas and petroleum in these areas, but their main natural resource is definitely going to be their beautiful beaches. Brings in a lot of tourism and a lot of money that way. The Caribbean is susceptible to hurricanes, and that is it for Latin America.